Hey traders, Jason here from Levitt Brothers. Hope you're well. So in this video, I'm going to offer some trading ideas going forward. A couple weeks ago, there were very clear signs that a bottom was being put in place. Not necessarily the bottom, but at least a bottom, a tradable bottom, where the market was probably going to go up for a little while, and some charts were setting up pretty well, and so we went long. And that's what we've been doing the last couple weeks. Because we don't really have, we don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. Like, I don't care if the market goes up or down. I'm not going to dig my feet in and defend a position. Yes, I'm on record as saying I think the market is going lower, but I also know that within bear markets, you get 10-15% bounces from the indexes. Those are pretty common. And if the indexes go up 10 or 15%, some leadership individual stocks are going to go up 30 or 40%, and we're going to play those. So we've had a lot of really good long trades the last couple weeks, and there are still more charts set up ready to go. So I'm going to talk through some of the trades we've had, because sometimes the best trade is just to stick with what you're doing or to trade the same chart again. And then I'll offer some brand new charts to consider. All right, let's get to it here. All right, so here is AI. This was a short of ours not that long ago. But as you can see, so we had a consolidation pattern here, V bottom, consolidation pattern here. So it broke out on Friday, as you can see. Gave a little back yesterday, now moving up a little bit today. So this is like a decent pattern. Like, overall, the stock's in bad shape, okay? I don't know, maybe it'll go back down to lows. I don't really care about that right now. All I know is we have a decent bottoming pattern. Stock breaks out, trying to consolidate above the resistance level. And if the market remains in decent shape, I'd say odds are this, maybe the stock won't go all the way to our target there at 22, but it certainly could move up another buck or so. Here is Fold, if you don't mind the inherent risk from biotechs. This one is set up okay. Like the last one, weak stock trending down, definitely not in an established uptrend, but we got a strong move off the low, and now it's been consolidating a couple weeks. We're starting to get some support here from the 21. We have resistance at 8, and we also have the 50-day moving average coming in at 8. So if you can get above 8 up into this area here, then pretty good chance that it can at least move up a little bit. Okay, whether it gets all the way to my target at 10, that'll depend on the overall market. But it's a worth a shot if you don't mind the risk of biotechs. Array Technologies. So solar has been really, really good. Very quietly, no one's paying attention to it. No one's really giving it much thought. And a lot of the stocks have done well. So here's Array. Rolling double bottom pattern, consolidate over here, broke out. This is a live trade for us that we're currently in. If you're not in it, that's fine. Don't chase it, but we'll see what happens here. Okay, this is a live trade for us. If you get a dip down to the 8 moving average, that might be a buy. If you get an extended sideways period that allows the 21 to come up and meet the price, that could be a buy. My eventual target is 12.5. That will almost entirely depend on how the market acts. Okay, a lot of stocks, very few stocks are like that fantastic on their own. They need the backing of the overall market. So if the market does well, I think 12.5 is a good shot. If the market doesn't do well, well, hey, we got a pretty good trade from the mid 9s up to the mid 11s. Bloom Energy. This is an example of a stock that it's an example. It's representative of how the market has shifted sentiment wise, because market gaps down, or this stock gaps down, we get a V bottom here. If the market was weak, this stock would have rolled over. It would have gotten rejected by the previous high. It would have rolled over and at least fallen back into the range here. But because the market is doing well, it actually sat up here for an entire week, got support from its 8 EMA here, got squeezed between the 8 and resistance, and then popped out the upside. Volume not super strong, but it is pretty steady, and now it's setting up right up here, like within the gap. So market stays strong, which it is doing fairly well right now, and we get some consolidation sideways. I think eventually this stock probably breaks up, goes back up to 20, but let's be serious. Overall, stock is at best dead money, and at worst weak and going to go down and maybe even hit single digits again. So I think in the near, it's a good example of this is just nothing more than a bear market bounce within a downtrend. So far, it's doing well for us. Breakout near 16, so currently sitting near 18. I think we get a little bit more if the market cooperates. If the market doesn't cooperate, you trail it with a stop and you get out. Big C, trying to put in a bottom here. As you can see, kind of a rolling, head and shoulders bottom pattern. We got 3 consolidation days here. So market continues to do okay. I think we move out of that range and get up into the 20s. Baker Hughes, one of the many oil stocks that we've played. Capitulation over here on the way down, based for about a month. So we played the breakout over here, got to our target at 36. Now the stock is setting up here. Our next target is 39. So we've had a lot of oil stocks treat us well lately. This is one of them. You can see a resistance level here at like 37.5. So we could have, a bigger something like this forming. We'll see. But as of now, our first target has been hit, and now the stock is in consolidation mode, getting ready to make a run at our second target. NEO, posted this one on Twitter recently. Overall, the stock's obviously in bad shape, lower highs, lower lows, etc., etc. You know the routine. Little rolling head and shoulders bottom pattern here. Got some pretty steady volume, not necessarily super strong volume. Finally above its 50-day moving average. It was above there and then failed, and you have to go back to last year before to find the last time. So it's finally above its 50-day again, above some previous highs here. So this one looks pretty good to get pulled up to 20 and then up a little bit higher than that. So that one's still playable. BPT is another one of our oil stocks that we've played. We've played it a couple times. We played it a couple times going back here, breakout there. And then coming out of this like triangle pattern here, paused for about a week and then obviously took off 16 to 20. It's a great trade. Oil stocks are doing great. Too far gone to chase right now for sure. But if we get some sideways movement here, that would be playable for an eventual breakout. And then if we get a dip either to the 8 or the 21 that are moving up, that could be a trade. Okay, sometimes the best trades are, trade the same stock over and over rather than a new trade. So this one's treated us well several times, and it continues to be on our radar for a future entry. Comp trying to come out of a base here. You got consolidation here, V bottom, consolidation. So stock broke out Friday, tested down lower yesterday, holding steady today. So if it can hold up here, we got the 50-day moving average coming in here. I'd say market acts well. Good chance we can come in and fill that void space and get up to 7. Copa, I don't know how to pronounce it. So bottoming pattern here, as you can see, we actually played this off the low, and our first target was 72.5. Now the stock's being squeezed by higher lows and the same highs. It all depends on the market. If the market acts well, this stock will pop out the upside here and fill that thin area. If the market doesn't act well, then maybe sometimes you get something like this, and then you draw a trend line that's exactly parallel. So sometimes you get what looks like a breakout, but then it fails, and it fails at a line that's where these two lines are parallel. So look out for that. It has potential if the market acts well, but if the market doesn't act well, probably going to get a false breakout there. Udemy, one of a couple education stocks. I'm familiar with the company because I have a free class that's posted there. You got to check it out. So we got double bottom pattern within a large range. We were playing it over here, tested our patience because it moved sideways for a couple weeks, but it finally busted out, and within like 4 or 5 day period it ramped up from 12 up to 16. So that was a great trade. Trade's over right now. Hit our first target of 14, hit our next target of 16. Now we sit back and wait and see what forms. Maybe we get another trade, maybe we don't. Coursera, another one in the education space. You can see huge sell-off, almost got cut in half. Traded sideways for a couple weeks and then took out resistance here at 16, and now is sitting pretty much in the middle of its between resistance and its target. I don't know if I'd chase it here, but you never know. If you get like a back kiss to the previous resistance level here, maybe we get another entry for an eventual move up. But something like that, that's going to depend on the overall market. If the market does well, a lot of stocks will do well. If the market doesn't do well, a lot of these are going to crap out, because overall I still consider us to be in a bear market. So BTU is one that's treated us well. We've traded this several times going back to last summer. Most recently had a blow off top here. Stock fell quite a bit, fell into a kind of like a falling rectangle, popped, had a trend change there, and then moved up to our target at 26. So I consider this trade to be over. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what happens at this point. Maybe we get, if I draw a trend line in there, maybe we get some sort of, something like this. Okay, I consider the first trade to be over. Our move from like 22 to 26, and now we sit back and wait and see what else it will offer us. Southwestern Energy, one of the several oil stocks that we played. We were active on it back here, and it ran up. We got kind of lucky because the market was not doing well, and this stock just kept pressing higher and higher and higher day after day. And then it fell into this like falling rectangle pattern, and so profiled it. This stock has done incredibly well. Really nice one for us. I wouldn't chase it here, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on it. If oil pulls back and maybe we get a chance at the 8, maybe we get a chance at the 21, but I consider it too far gone to chase, but definitely one to keep on our list for a future entry. Patterson, same thing. Don't need to go into it too much here. Stock's done really well. We've traded it a few times over the last several months. Breakout there back in April. Trended down for a couple weeks and then broke out last week and has done well for us. So again, same thing. I consider the trade to be over, but now we sit back and see if we get another entry going forward. Okay. Digitalocean, consolidation here, V bottom, consolidation here. So notice how the 8 kind of came up and scooped it up here. So broke out, moved to our first target at 45. Now it's kind of consolidating here above the 15-day moving average. So if the market acts well, I think this thing probably goes up to 55, which was resistance here and support there. It depends on how the market does. Again, overall, I consider the stock weak in a downtrend. It's trying to turn the corner. We got a lot of positive volume here, so that's a good sign. But if the market's weak, it's not going to hold up. DLO, this one has done really well. So this gap here was earnings, and so we put a target on it at 25, which it hit, and then it broke out and hit our second target at 30. I consider that second trade to be over. Now the stock's in consolidation mode between 28 and 30. We'll see if we get another trade here. That's tough. I mean, to go from like 35 all the way down to 15 to expect it to go all the way back up there. In this market, that's pretty tough, but it did have a blowout earnings call over here, so that helps a lot. So right now I consider the trade to be over, but I think if you want to trade strong stocks that are doing really well, leadership stocks, this one, by virtue of its move from 15 up to 30, is one of the market's strongest stocks right now. Doma, nothing special here, just a consolidation, V bottom, consolidation. Notice this big volume bar off the low. So this one has, on a percentage basis, this one certainly has potential, but overall, I consider it still just a weak stock. But if the market acts well, you got some resistance there at 2.5. You can see like maybe a big kind of bullish pattern here, and maybe it'll come up to here. So to me, this is kind of like a trade within a bottoming pattern. Marqeta. So consolidation, V bottom, consolidation, broke out at $10 last week, tested lower yesterday, tested lower today. We'll see. Stock's trying to move up, but as you can see here, it's got a ton of resistance up here in the form of people who bought and are wanting to get out even. So it's going to be a tough road. If it can get up to 12, that's actually a pretty good level, because you can draw a trend line across here, and at that point in time, everyone who, if it gets up to 12, everyone who's bought in here will be showing a profit, and then it will be free to try and break out and run higher. That's going to depend on the overall market. Moderna, and I'm going to go through these last few a little bit quicker. Just rolling pattern here. breaks out, volume decent but not great. Now it's just kind of setting up here below 150. So just looking for, maybe an 8-10% move. We got a little bit of resistance here at 155 that we have to pay attention to. At best, this is just a big basing period. Okay, so this is just like a trade within a base. So it could move up, it could trend up, to like here. It could also just move up and fail and just go back down and test the lows. So no directional momentum, no wind at your back, just a trade within a range that is possible given that the market has improved. Matterport, nothing special here. This is one of the stocks that went public, went up a whole bunch, and then just got clobbered. As you can see, V bottom here, consolidate for a couple weeks. Now we got resistance at 575. Hey, market does well. I can see a 50-cent, 75-cent move up to the previous support level, which was back there at 6.5. StoneCo, this stock was up at $70, $75. Now it's below $10 or was below $10. We got a little bit of a rolling pattern here. Broke out last week, now consolidating. So market does well. I can see this stock popping for another point. Nova, one of the several solar stocks that we've been playing. We got double bottom pattern, although that second bottom was way below the first. Consolidate here, volume down here good, breaks out, gets to our first target at 20, and now it's consolidating and looking for a breakout and another 15% move up to 23. So that one's still playable. This is a live trade for us, but still playable going forward. All right, so that's it. So just to recap, a couple weeks ago, market sent out very clear signs that it was turning up. It wasn't necessarily the bottom, but it was certainly a bottom, and it was a playable bottom. We've had a lot of good trades the last couple weeks, and there are still a lot of charts that are set up. You can either trade new ones or go back to the well and trade the same ones as they pull back. Either way, don't fight the market. Okay, even if you're super bearish, just know that 10-15% rallies within bear markets are very normal, and if the market's going to rally 10%, then some individual stocks are going to rally 25, 30, 35%. So, and those are playable. So you don't want to dig your heels in and defend a position. All right, hope you got something out of this. I will see you next time.